Well, hello, welcome back to Tale 3 Cabins. Believe it or not, I am going to take this week off. It's the holiday week and I'm down here a few weeks prior to the 4th of July. It's the typical, I probably waited too long to come down here and cut the grass as usual, but we've been pretty busy lately and it's been getting harder to come down here and cut the grass. I did find one surprise in the mousetrap that I've never encountered before, and I'll let you know what I found at the end of this video. But since I'm taking some time off, I thought I'd give you a little update on the friends of ours that have been doing that Great American Loop on the boat. If you're not familiar with it, I made a couple videos about it, but basically they're on a several thousand mile journey in a 43-foot boat. Basically, they started up in Sandusky, Ohio, went up and around Michigan, down toward Chicago, into the river system, down into Mobile Bay by the Gulf of Mexico, up and around Florida, and we've jumped on with them periodically throughout the year. We started out with them when they first started. We jumped on in Florida for a couple weeks. We were going to help them do the Gulf crossing, and that didn't work out too well for us. You can check out those videos. I'll leave a link up here if you want to check those out earlier to see what I'm talking about. But they're getting into the last few months of their journey, and the timing just happened to work out where they were in a good location for us to go visit our niece just south of Philadelphia near the Chesapeake area. And we were able to park our car over there, jump on their boat for about a week and a half, and then figure out how we were going to get back to our car after that. So this video is going to cover that. I think it's a little fitting in there because we're going to be docking by the Statue of Liberty and staying there overnight, and it just so happens to be the 4th of July. So why don't you check it out, and I'll talk to you later. Well, we left northern Ohio and we drove about 7 hours to southeast Pennsylvania, where we went to our niece and nephew's house, and they took us to the last half-hour drive to where we're going to hop on the boat in Chesapeake City. So we enjoyed a quick dinner with them. They were off, and now we're on the boat for the next 2 weeks or so, and we'll see how we're going to get back and just where we're going to end up when we decide we're going to jump off. So this is our third time jumping on a boat with them, and one thing that I've realized that is just amazing how many different marinas, how many different waterways. It truly has been amazing just to see a different lifestyle on the water, just how much is used for commerce and recreation and just a number of different boats out there. It is definitely a world all to its own. It was nice to have one full day just to get acquainted on the boat before we launch off on the next part of this journey. It's looking like the weather's going to cooperate for tomorrow for us to have an early launch, and I think they decided to skip their next stop and just go on to the stop that they were going to do the day after that and just take advantage of the good weather. So we are going to jump into the Chesapeake Delaware Canal, go into the Delaware River, and then into the Delaware Bay, and go all the way to Cape May. Just a little bit about the boat that we're on. This is a 2,043 foot main ship 43. It has 2 diesel engines. The best cruising speed and most economical for this boat is around 10 knots. If you start going over that, you really start guzzling the gas. Its top speed is around 18 knots, so just enough maybe to get one water skier up. Maybe not slalom though.
Stick to be shoved in the swim though. Hey! Hey!
Put your stick away.
As I mentioned, this is our third time jumping on with them, but they left back in August of 2021 and been on this boat for the last 10 months, and they have about 2 more months to go. All throughout this trip, occasionally you'll run into other loopers. Sometimes you'll travel together, sometimes you'll travel in packs, and sometimes you'll be by yourself. Well, we arrived in Cape May, and it was a very quick trip, just one quick evening. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of time to explore the area because we're going to be shoving off first thing in the morning. Again, weather is going to play an important role on today's journey. Most of it is going to be out on the Atlantic Ocean. We're going to be heading up northeast along the coast to Atlantic City. Conditions in the ocean are great right now. Just a few swells that's hardly noticeable, very low waves, just a great little ride. Atlantic City's in view, and even though it looks nearby, going at 10 knots, it's still a couple hours out. We are pulling into a marina that is right next to the Golden Nugget Casino. I myself was not that impressed with Atlantic City. I'm not a big gambler. And during the daytime, the town is not very walkable. It seems like if you're in a casino, you just want to stay at that casino unless you have transportation via vehicles. At night, though, is a different story. The town really did light up. It looked very pretty at night. A lot going on. We had looked into a couple different restaurants we wanted to try out, and some of them were closed just because of low staffing levels. This little 140-foot yacht pulled in during our stay. We spent 2 nights here. Our friends were able to do some laundry at the marina's laundromats. There were really no stores nearby to do any shopping, grocery shopping, anything like that. We thought about going over to the boardwalk, and a couple other boaters said that it wasn't worth your time going over there. So we just pretty much stayed put in the marina. We got up around 5 a.m., checked the weather conditions, and we are off at 6 o'clock right now. Things are looking good in the Atlantic Ocean, although there are reports of some fog out there. Yep, there is some fog out there. Conditions are also supposed to change a little bit. Wind's going to change direction, going to get a little bit stronger. So depending how it goes, we may cut the short trip, or we might go directly to New York, into New York Harbor. Just going to depend on the weather for now. This is a good example of the fog hanging low over the water, but you can still see the tops of the tall buildings of Atlantic City. Now there are a couple buddy boats following behind, and sometimes we can see them, sometimes we can't.
AIS.
Roger that. What's your destination today? Just curiosity.
We're hoping to make Lady Liberty.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, we're going to go over to Staten Island ourselves. That's what we're planning to do. But I wasn't sure we got in late last night that we were Atlantic City, marina at Folly State Park.
That's where we were.
Yeah, that's the same place we're coming from.
Right, so I didn't get a chance to, we've been out of town, visiting folks in Boston, wasn't sure else could be traveling. It's good to see some other folks behind me out here.
Yep, it's nice not to be alone, especially with the fog.
Roger that. Well, good. I just wanted to check in.
We met you at
And
Palm
what's your home port?
Home port's in Dusky Bay, Ohio, and we really met you guys at Palm Cove.
Roger that, and you did. Good memory. Good memory, yes. We were at,
Take credit for that.
we took off from Toledo Beach last July, so you know where that is. Over on the east coast of Michigan.
Oh yeah, we passed it sometime in late August.
That was our first stop.
Well, fantastic. Well, good. Well, I look forward to reacquainting you all in person. But other than that, good to do. We're going to go back to 1-6. Thank you.
Tell them,
All right, thanks for calling. Talk to you later, back to 1-6.
Weather conditions improved. The winds never really picked up that much. It's still a little hazy out, but the fog is gone, and we made it to Lady Liberty. The plan is to anchor behind Lady Liberty for the evening and spend a night in the harbor. But first things first, there's a couple other loop boats that came along with us, and everybody needs to take their picture in front of Statue of Liberty. Had to get my own picture too. This is where we're going to be spending the evening. We've dropped anchor. This is going to be it for tonight, spending the night in the harbor. Right now it's a little choppy when the ferries go by and the boats go by, but this traffic should die down as the sun goes down. There are moments of tranquility followed by swarms of helicopters periodically, which pretty much fill the sky non-stop. Really could not have asked for a more perfect evening with the backdrop of New York City, Statue of Liberty. It's one of those nights where you just want to stay up all night to take advantage of the great views, but we do have to head off in the morning. We want to pick up anchor before the boat traffic begins again in the harbor and start heading up the Hudson. Today is going to take us about 30 miles up north on the Hudson, near Montrose, New York. I was really quite surprised that it didn't take long at all to get rid of that big city feeling and more into a rural setting. Probably the choppiest weather we've had so far has been on the river, and the Hudson River is very unique because it flows with the tides, so sometimes the current of the river is going upstream and sometimes the current of the river is coming downstream. We're in an area known as Cortland. In fact, the marina's name is Cortland, and we're going to be staying here for 2 nights. It's a very nice walkable town. It's got a lot of nice little delis nearby, a lot of pizza places. Now, we were never quite sure when we were going to jump off the boat, but we're moving pretty quick, and we didn't want to go any farther than Albany. So while we're here for 2 days, an opportunity has arose where we took a lift, and we took a car, took it up to Stewart Airport, and we picked up a rental car. Now, we're not going to jump off just yet, but we're going to bring this rental car back to the boat, have it for a couple days, and then come home. Having a car now allowed us to do a little bit more sightseeing in the area, a little further than walking distance. So now we got the rental car and we're going to parallel with the boat. This is going to give our boaters a chance for us to pick up some supplies for them, some water, and we're going to meet them at the next stop. So they're going to head up to Poughkeepsie, New York, which is about another 30-mile drive. We're going to take our car, stop at a couple grocery stores, and pick up some supplies for them. And we'll meet them there for 1 evening or so. There's some timing involved with their departure too. They wanted to leave as the tide was rising, which would push them up the river and help them save a little bit on fuel economy. Since we were staying on land, it gave me an opportunity to use the drone and get a little bit of footage of their boat as they left the marina. We also were able to drive up ahead and catch them in a nice overlook area and get a view from there. We picked up the supplies they needed, and we arrived at the next marina ahead of schedule about 30 minutes, so we were able to arrive to the dock and help them get situated. Since we had the rental car, this afforded us the opportunity to do a little bit of traveling, although on a tight schedule as they were going to leave in the morning. But we were able to visit the Culinary Institute. We also went to FDR's home. That was quite interesting. FDR's home is run by the National Parks, and a tour guide did a great job. One thing that stood out for me was the elevator that they used to get FDR up and down to the second floor. It was not electric. It was used by a hand rope, and most of the time FDR himself would power himself up to the second floor. The other thing that stood out to me was the bedroom layout. I think Eleanor really got the shaft. This is FDR's bedroom. Has a direct link to the White House. And then Eleanor had a bedroom adjoining to this, but I think bed size wise, Eleanor got screwed. And if that wasn't bad enough, this is FDR's mom's bedroom. After that tour, we had a bite to eat, and then we wanted to check out a bridge that was being repurposed for a walkway and a bikeway. It's about 3 miles long, and it was pretty neat. Gave great views of the Hudson River, and if you did not want to walk the whole length of the bridge to get to it, they did have an elevator that you could take to get up. There's the marina out in the distance where the boat is. It's the very last one on the right. All in all, we walked about 5 miles, and most of it was on this bridge, so we definitely got our steps in for the day. We tried to squeeze a lot in today. It was a whirlwind day. Tomorrow we're going to get up and we're going to head out in the rental car, head back to our niece's, and go pick up our car, head back to Northern Ohio. It was a little quicker of a trip than we anticipated, but we took advantage of the situation. As I said, we weren't sure exactly how we were going to get back. There was a chance we could take a train back into New York and then New York back into Pennsylvania. But the rental car presented itself, so we grabbed it, and now we're going to say farewell to our friends. We appreciate letting us jump aboard on their boat again.
Thank you.
So they're going to continue north up the Hudson River, make their way into a canal, get into Lake Champlain, go past Burlington, Vermont, and into Canada. And we're going to hop in our rental car, head back to Delaware, drop it off, spend a few days at our niece and nephew's house, and come back to Northern Ohio. Are you going to need a cord?
Yeah, I'm almost out of juice.
Okay, so we made it home safe and sound. I'm down here finishing cutting up grass, and what I found is a little disturbing. It's over here in the garbage can, and I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with it. First time to find a snake in our cabin. I've never found any snake skins or anything like that. I know some of the other neighbors nearby, they've talked about finding snake skins in like their fireplace area or maybe certain parts of their homes, but it's never happened to me. I'm not entirely sure what type of snake this is. It was a little bit bigger than I thought when I first saw the mouse trap. It was definitely coiled up inside. And these mouse traps are a little bit larger than the norm. It's kind of stuck in here, and it's maybe about 2.5 feet long that I could tell. But I'm going to see if maybe I can throw it in the back of my UTV and take it for a little ride and then let it go somewhere in the grass. Anyways, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed and subscribe to these videos. We'll get back to some tractor work coming up here. Also, we got a few little product reviews now and then that I do as a supplemental video. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy these videos and subscribe, and keep an eye on us.